Good morning, I'm Maiki Oreta and welcome to Industry Beacon, where we shine a light on the trailblazers, the disruptors, and the industry leaders shaping our future. And in each episode, we'll explore how they're staying ahead in their respective fields, one industry at a time. Today, we're taking a closer look at the growing fintech sector in the Philippines. Since the pandemic, companies in this space have experienced rapid growth, with fintech becoming an integral part of everyday life. Now, in this episode, we'll speak with the leading player in this space, GCash, a pioneer in digital financial inclusion. For 20 years now, they've been providing essential financial services to Filipinos. And today, we'll discuss how they're staying ahead of the competition, their future plans, and the challenges they face as they continue to expand. Joining me now is Neil Trinidad, the Chief Marketing Officer of GCash. Welcome, Neil.
Hi, Maiki. Thanks for having us here.
Well, we're happy to have you guys. GCash is a true pioneer in this space, and your insights are we're going to learn so much from you.
Okay, great.
Okay, so just to start off, Neil, can you give us an overview of the industry that you're in? Tell us about where we are to date and where it's headed.
We've seen a huge growth in the digital financial services industry. What I can tell you is account ownership has more than doubled over the past 2 years, really signifying the huge growth and headroom that there is. Over the past few years, we've seen strong double-digit growth around the financial services industry, and we expect that it will continue to grow at a high double digit because there's so much opportunity to drive greater penetration for financial services.
So for 2024 and 2025 through to perhaps 2026 and beyond, you're expecting high double-digit growth. What was the growth in 2023?
What I can say is that it was a double digit, and we've been seeing that for the past few years. There's been a lot of growth momentum around financial services simply because we're providing access to Filipinos who previously were underserved and unserved. So there's a huge headroom across the e-wallet segment, across payments, loans, insurance, and investments. So we see a huge opportunity in this space moving forward.
Okay, now talk to us about your user base. How many people are on the GCash platform today?
You know, Maiki, we're very proud to say that we have 8 out of 10 Filipino adults have ever tried GCash. That's around 94 million Filipinos. And the vast majority of this, if you look at our demographic, actually belongs to the middle to lower socioeconomic classes. And that's 90% of our user base. 57% of our users are women, and 74% of our users live outside of the National Capital Region. So we're seeing sort of huge growth, and again, really the app being a story of financial inclusion in the country.
Mm-hmm. Talk to us about your geographic footprint. What's that like globally? I mean, physically, you're just in the Philippines, but in terms of user base, you are where the Filipinos are.
Absolutely. You know, as we are very proud to be a proudly Pinoy fintech company that's going global. Now, our mission, Maiki, is we know there are over 10 million Philippine overseas workers and migrants, and our vision is to be wherever they are, is to offer GCash to be able to help them send money back home with ease. So to date, we are in around 17 countries and territories, and that includes the US, the Middle East, UAE, Italy, Australia, Canada, the UK, Japan, and our aim really is to continue expanding wherever there are OFWs.
Mm-hmm. Now, GCash is the first and only $5 billion unicorn in the Philippines. What are you doing right? How did you get to this pole position, and how do you stay ahead?
That's a great question. I mean, we believe that the reason why GCash got to where we are today is because of our mission of driving finance for all. That's really at the heart of what we do. What does that mean? It means being able to provide financial services to more Filipinos by making it easy and accessible. So it has really been that. I mean, we started off as a payment sort of service in 2004, an SMS send money service. And now GCash has become the #1 finance super app in the country, where people can use it to pay, to borrow, save, invest, and do so much more.
Speaking of borrowing, will you be applying for a digital banking license from the BSP?
There's been a lot of conversation around digital banking license, so I will not talk about it. But when it comes to lending, what I can talk about, Maiki, is the inroads we're making on driving fair lending for more Filipinos. We have disbursed over 155 billion pesos in loans to over 5.4 million unique borrowers, many of whom are borrowing from formal lenders for the very first time. So it's a great story of providing access and making loans easy, fair, and accessible to more Filipinos.
Now, you've got 94 million globally on your platform. On the tech side, what kind of technology and software do you need to support such a large user base?
GCash has been growing rapidly, and I think one of the things that we're very proud of are our strong partnerships with industry leaders. And I'll give you an example. One of them is Ant Financial. They're one of our investors, and much of our platform is powered by the Ant Financial platform. It enables us to grow at scale and to be able to serve our users. On top of that, our technology and operations team continue to build and develop new products and services, whether that's in borrowing or savings or insurance. So we continue to innovate on the space on top of a secure, scalable platform.
Now, talk to us about Ant Financial. This is a company based in China, owned by Alibaba, and they're powering your services. Were they with you from the get-go?
Ant Financial has been with us since around 2017, I believe. They're one of our shareholders, and we're very proud of this deep partnership because it enables us to scale our platform and to expand our services. And we get to learn from markets which are very developed in the fintech space. So it allows us to develop our products and innovate accordingly.
Now, trust and security is huge everywhere, all the more in the space that you're in. How do you make sure that the app is not susceptible to any threats?
You know, Maiki, trust and security is our number one priority, and we always stress this. And we address this by three key ways, actually. First is we continue to innovate by introducing more security features in the app. We recently rolled out Double Safe, which now uses facial recognition to make sure that only you have access to your GCash account. So we continue to innovate by increasing and improving our security measures. Second, we believe that the best way to keep people safe is by educating them. So we have been educating our users at scale through an education campaign, teaching them never share your MPIN and OTP, do not click on phishing links because Filipinos tend to click on whatever they receive. And we've been doing that by telling them you have to be safe. So make sure that you are careful with your transactions, with how you're participating in the digital space. And the third, Maiki, is we continue to work very closely with law enforcement agencies to make sure that we continue to drive safety for the entire industry.
94 million users and growing. That's a lot of people to keep safe. Can you talk to us about the demographics of your user base?
You know, we're very proud, Maiki, that the GCash app is very much a representation of the Philippines, the larger Philippines. If you look at our users, the 94 million, around 54% of those are women. Sorry, 57% of those are women, right? 74% of those live outside of the National Capital Region. 90% of them belong to the middle and lower socioeconomic classes, and over 60% are Gen Zs and millennials, so aged 18 to 35 years old. So really, the GCash app represents the entire Philippines, and we're very proud of that.
Okay, with all the figures and all this data that you have, what insights can you gather from your consumers, your 94 million consumers with these demographics? What are these figures telling you about the directions wherein you need to go?
You know what's great about it is we are a company that's very customer-centric at our heart. So we have a lot of data, we have a lot of insights, and what it's teaching us, Maiki, is that the Filipino is ready to learn about how they can invest their money, how they can grow their money, how they can keep themselves safe. If you look at it, many Filipinos historically have not had access to many financial services. But as we've been innovating in this space, offering products like GSave, G-Stocks, even G-Crypto, G-Insure, we're seeing that there's a lot of interest. Filipinos, many of whom are first-time either savers, investors, or borrowers, are really adopting these products. And it tells us that there is interest. But it also tells us another thing, that we need to do more on financial literacy and education. Because interest and access is a foot in the door.
You're providing the platform, which is the beginning of everything. But they need the aptitude to be able to maximize the benefits of your platform.
Absolutely. It all starts with financial inclusion. that is the first step. It is providing financial services that's easy, affordable, accessible. But we are very conscious that we need to journey Filipinos on their path to financial progress and financial health. So what does that mean? It means now being able to help teach them and guide them. Why is it important to save money? Why is it important to get insurance to protect your family?
Neil, what do you think we need to be doing on a national level in order to, democratize financial literacy and help get more people to be able to use the platform, because they can't use something that they don't understand?
That's true. What is heartening, Maiki, is financial literacy is a key initiative of the BSP. So they have a plan to really drive financial literacy at scale for all Filipinos. And as a #1 fintech player, we at GCash take that mission very seriously. So I think it really is about consistent investment in education. It's about going grassroots to where our customers are, speaking to them in their language, meeting them where they are. Because one other insight that we learned, Maiki, in our many customer insighting is that the Filipino today is financially literate in their own world. Many Filipinos have had to survive and get by. That's why they borrow, sometimes from loan sharks. That's why they have a favorite palista in a tindahan. They've learned how to get by. But imagine now teaching them the fundamentals of how to save, the steps that it can take for you to protect yourself with insurance, the steps that it will take for you to invest for the very first time. That's the opportunity. But we need to do that by speaking their language.
It takes a lot to get them to the level that they can approach these products confidently.
That's true.
And the point of the exercise is to earn money. And,
exactly.
There's a lot of education that needs to happen
There's
for that.
A lot, yes.
Now, going to the penetration rate of GCash in the Philippines, where are the areas you're focusing on? I mean, there are areas in the country where there is a high population rate,
correct,
but the penetration rate of GCash is not as high as you'd like it to be. Where are these cities, and what are the figures like?
So if you look at GCash, around 74% of our users are outside of NCR, but we are seeing that in NCR, that's where a lot of the users are more active in using different financial services. They're more advanced, which is why for us, our mission is we want to now build ecosystems across 20 or more what we call digi-cities. We've identified these as areas like CDO, Davao, Mandaue, and many more, where there's a high population but a relatively lower penetration of GCash usage. So how we're doing this, Maiki, is we're doing it in the following ways. First of all, we're working to build the ecosystem, onboarding more merchants, shop owners to use GCash as a mode of payment. Second, we're working with the LGUs on many programs on digitalization and upskilling. And third, we're doing a lot of micro-marketing because to unlock the opportunity, we need to speak in their language, we need to offer the right products to them. And we believe it's these three things which will help us grow penetration beyond NCR to really serve Filipinos all around the country.
So many growth opportunities.
So many.
We'll have to cut that short for now because we're going to be taking a quick break. Industry Beacon will be right back after this. Welcome back to Industry Beacon. Let's continue our discussion with the Chief Marketing Officer of top fintech firm GCash, Neil Trinidad. Hi, Neil. How do you plan on scaling your operations in the Philippines and beyond?
I'll talk about beyond because we're very excited about our global expansion. So I shared earlier that we're expanding now to 17 territories. And what we're doing now is offering GCash overseas, which is really a version of the app that Filipinos can use even if they don't have a local SIM. Now, when we did a lot of insighting, Maiki, there was one that really stood out, which was quite painful to hear from our customers, which is many OFWs send money back home, but there are certain cases where they come back home and the money they sent home that was supposed to fund a house didn't go to a house, that was supposed to pay for loans didn't pay for loans. And there are some Filipinos who come home shocked that the money they sent home wasn't used for the purpose that it was meant for. Now, GCash Overseas aims to address that pain point. How do we do it? It's simple. If you have a GCash Overseas account, you can send money home to your family members instantly. You can even pay for bills directly wherever you are in the world. Say you can pay for your Globe bill from Italy. you can pay for your mortgage from wherever you are.
That's
it can go direct
product
to your biller.
because it goes direct
Exactly.
to where they want it to go,
Yes.
rather than just sending money and you don't know. A lot of people have trust issues for good reason.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. What more products? What innovative products are you doing? What are the other pain points of the Filipino community that you would like to address? That's huge right there.
It is.
So many people.
It is.
So much of our growth is from OFW remittances, and now you're working on products to keep these remittances going to where they ought to be going. What are the other products you have on the docket?
We're very excited about, first of all, GCash Overseas is very exciting for us. We're continuing to expand, and we believe that this is an insight that will unlock many more users to now be able to send money home to their loved ones instantly. We also have a pipeline for innovations for our overseas community. I can't share enough now, but rest assured that we have a whole pipeline because we've mapped out a lot of their needs and we aim to serve it wherever the Filipino may be.
And that is really the success of GCash, why you guys are in the pole position that you're in. You know the pain points and you're addressing them on point. What else can you tell us about your plans for the future? There's the IPO. A lot of people want to talk about that. I know there's not much of it that you can disclose, but what can you tell us about the IPO? Because all the growth stories that you've been telling us, all these opportunities, it just begs the question, how can investors be a part of this?
Maiki, when it comes to the IPO, there's not much more that I can say. But what I can say are two things. First is we're waiting for the right opportunity, the right market opportunity. And second, we are working very hard behind the scenes to be push button ready for when that right market opportunity comes. So that I can share with you.
Okay, how close are you guys from being push button ready?
Well, we are working very hard behind the scenes, and really it takes a lot to prepare for it. So.
And when you're ready, you're going to break it here, right?
Oh,
we'll
make sure that you will be one of the first to know.
All right. What else can you tell us about GCash looking ahead? How do you see Fintech and what's the role GCash is playing in revolutionizing the banking industry in the Philippines?
We're very happy with how the past 20 years have been. It's really been a story of breaking barriers to financial access, and it's been a story of financial inclusion. We believe, Maiki, that there's still a lot of work to be done. And really, I wanted to shine the light on the underserved and the unserved sectors of society where there's still a lot more opportunity for financial inclusion. And I'm talking about marginalized sectors like farmers and fisherfolk. And that's really been a focus area for GCash, is how do we now help more and more Filipinos, especially those who are in marginalized sectors, by offering them farmer loans, for instance, by giving them access to credit, by allowing them to get insurance at fractions of the cost. So that's where we want to shine the light is, whilst there's been a lot of adoption, there are still marginalized sectors that need help. And we believe that GCash, our scale has been, we are inclusive as an app, and we really develop products that are genuinely created to help Filipinos with their problems. So that's where we want to go, and that's what we want to serve.
Okay, one last question. It's the future for us, but it's the current situation for other countries in the world. Sweden, for example, is at the forefront of the cashless movement. How far do you think we are in the Philippines from going completely cashless?
Well, what I can say is that we've made a lot of progress in really going cashless, but I think there's still quite a lot to go. And I think it goes back to building the ecosystem, because you can only go cashless when even more merchants accept it. You'll go cashless when you build more trust with Filipinos that using an e-wallet is indeed safe, because it is, right? And that's what we see it. I think a lot of it will really be building the ecosystem, developing the market, and educating users. So we're very hopeful that we'll get there sooner rather than later.
All right, sooner rather than later. Thank you so much for your time, Neil.
Thank you.
And that's it for today's show. I'm Maiki Oreta. Catch the Billionario News Channel on Free TV Channel 31 and on cable via Cignal Channel 24. Thank you for watching the Billionario News Channel, always on top. Thank you.